Hola a todos y bienvenidos. Hi and welcome everyone to a Speech Bubble Languages Spanish session with me, Louise, from Speech Bubble Languages HQ. As you can see from our screen here, this session is a grammar session where we explore the tense known as the pluperfect in Spanish. As a result of this tense being a little bit complicated, this lesson is suitable for more advanced learners of the Spanish language. Let's get started, shall we? The pluperfect, or past perfect, is used to describe an event that occurred before something else occurred in the past. When we take a little look at our chronogramma, or our timeline, we can see exactly where the pluperfect belongs in a sequence of events. You can see the little arrow pointing to the screen, and it's just right before the preterite tense on our timeline. Before we look at what the pluperfect would look like in Spanish, it's useful for us to consider what it actually looks like in English too. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see two examples of the pluperfect in English. She had eaten her dinner before she went to the cinema. She had eaten is an example of the pluperfect in English. She had eaten her dinner before she went to the cinema. She went to the cinema. She went is in the preterite. So that's one event in the past, she went. And just before that, she had eaten her dinner. Therefore, she had eaten is in the pluperfect. Our second example is, he had put up the decorations before the birthday girl arrived. He had put up. This is in the pluperfect, the event that happened just before the birthday girl arrived. And that verb arrived would be in the preterite. So we can see exactly whereabouts this tense belongs on our timeline that we're nice and familiar with if you're joining us in a class. Now, due to the fact that the pluperfect describes an event which took place before another event, we frequently see some common words in the sentence somewhere too. Common words such as cuando, antes de, ya, hace, durante, and después de. I'm hoping you're familiar with these expressions. Can you match the Spanish with the English? So we have cuando, when, antes de, before, ya, the word for already in Spanish, hace, ago, durante, for, in this case, talking about a duration of time, and después de, after. Make sure you've got a note of these because you're going to need them a little bit later in our session where we're going to put them into action in some sentences too. Let's move on now to the conjugation of the pluperfect. To conjugate the pluperfect tense, we need a combination of two separate things. The first thing we do is we take the auxiliary verb, the helper verb, haber, and we pop that one into the imperfect tense. So what we have is había, habías, había, habíamos, habíais, habían. The second step is to create the past participle of the verb, the action, the key verb that has taken place and in the past. For AR verbs, you drop the AR and you add on ado. So for example, the verb hablar would become hablado. For ER and IR verbs, you drop those endings off and we add on ido. So for example, comer would be comido and vivir, vivido. There are some participles that are irregular, including a very common one, the verb hacer, which looks like hecho in the past participle. Ver becomes visto, decir, dicho, escribir, escrito, abrir, abierto, and descubrir, descubierto. So a combination of those two things, haber and the past participle, allows you to conjugate the pluperfect tense. So for example, to say, I had spoken, we would say, había hablado. You had eaten. Habías comido. They had lived. Habían vivido. So far, so good? I hope so. Let's put it into action then, shall we? We have a lovely little grid on the screen now, and in a moment I'm going to ask you to hit the pause button. For each of the conjugations you can see in Spanish, I want you to tell me what the English is. And for the final column where you can find the English, pop it into Spanish. Use all your notes to help you and take as long as you need. Hit that pause button here then as you work your way through that task. So let's try them after me. Can we say, había cantado? Habías jugado. Había hablado. Habíamos vivido. Había vivido. Habían dormido. Había cocinado. Habías corrido. Había estudiado. Habíamos pensado. Habíais comprado. And habían bebido. On our final column, we can see I had danced would be había bailado. You had shouted, habías gritado. He or she'd walked, había caminado. We had discussed, habíamos discutido. You all had studied, habíais estudiado. And finally, they had taken, habían tomado. I hope you did well there, everyone. So our final challenge in this session today is an extended translation challenge where you are going to work along each column, translating into Spanish each section to create extended sentences in the Spanish language. You'll see there are 10 sentences in total. You have the formation of the pluperfect. You then have a noun of some sort. And then you're given an indication of the other event, that other thing that might have happened, or an extra piece of detail to inform us that this activity you're talking about was the pluperfect. Something happened in advance of something else. You might remember or want to remind yourself that if another event is mentioned in the sentence and you're given a pronoun such as I, you, he, she, it, we, you, or they, that second event, the event from the right column, has to go into the preterite tense. You can also use the verb for the right-hand column in the infinitive if no specific person is mentioned in that part. Okay, hit the pause button here. Good luck, everybody. This is a tricky one. Take your time and watch out for that little pink one in the middle there, that word done. Okay, folks, on the screen now, you'll see we've changed it over to the translation. So it's up to you again to hit that pause button and work your way through each of the sentences in turn, checking how accurate you were in accordance to our answers on the screen. Muy bien a todos. Well done, everyone, for sticking with us for this tricky session on the pluperfect tense in Spanish. If you've come across anything today that you are unsure of, get in touch with us. Come and have a chat with your class teacher. We are here to help you every step of the way in your Spanish language learning journey. Until next time, everyone, adios y muchísimas gracias a todos. Bye, everybody.